In our last video, we had taken a look at power converters and power electronics, and I had also mentioned that these are vital components in an electric car. Today, I have Vatsal joining us over a video call, and he's going to be walking us through how power converters are actually used in electric vehicles. Hi, Vatsal, how are you?
Hey, hi Srinath. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine.
So, Vatsal, can you just tell us the role of power converters in an electric vehicle, power electronics and power converters in electric vehicles?
So Srinath, power converters play a very important role in any product which deals with electrical energy and electrical power. So in case of electric vehicle, you need a lot of energy conversion from one form to another form. And whenever you kind of take one form of energy and you want to utilize into another form of energy, you need power converters in between. So majorly, if I tell you about which are those points or which are those areas where power converters are used in electric vehicle, well, that's basically the engine of electric vehicle. And I will say you have a DC power from the battery, and you need a mechanical power on the wheels. You do a lot of power conversion, and there are three main types of power converters which we will see.
Okay, so let me guess. This is going to be the DC to DC converter, AC to DC to AC converter, and AC to DC converter.
Yes. So if you take two forms of power, the one form of power is AC, one form of power is DC. And if you do this combinations, right, you can convert AC to DC and DC to AC, or DC to DC and AC to AC, right? You may be surprised at why we need to convert DC again into DC, right? We already have a DC, but it's for different level and the different power and different voltage and current level on the other side of the circuit.
One question. I understand DC to DC and DC to AC. How does AC to DC work in an electric vehicle? Because the main power source is a DC battery, right?
Correct. So, Srinath, do you know how the battery is going to receive the power after it is fully discharged?
Okay. So you're talking about the charging circuit. All right. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we have a AC power source available,
Yeah.
right, in the utility system, in the distribution network. So power plants generate energy which are located at very far end, and they transmit the energy in the form of AC. And what we have available at our home and industries is AC power. So when we have AC power and we want to charge the batteries, that's where AC to DC rectifiers will come into picture.
So, Vatsal, why does an electric car require so many conversions? Why can't it be more straightforward? Because obviously, yeah, AC to DC converter I get to charge up the battery, but once the battery is charged up, why can't everything run on DC? I mean, why so many conversions? Why so many steps?
Interesting question, Srinath. So you mean to ask why power converters are required at all, and why can't we straightforward use the power which is available? Is it your question?
Yeah, kind of.
Correct. So let me explain you why do we need power converters at all, right? So the first thing is every load and every type of electrical circuit has a different demand of power. Okay, so if I give you an analogy or some example, so money is the best analogy I can give you. So let's say you want to buy any product or you want to take any services, right? So you spend your money. So money is kind of equivalent to power. So basically you can't just eat the coins and the currency notes, right? So you just spend and you buy something, and probably you spend it. So in the same way, the power has to be spent by converting into other form. So the electrical power can never be consumed in its natural form, right? So you never see any application where the power is utilized directly, right? So we either give it to a heater or we give it to some motor, right? Or we give it to some lighting equipment or sound equipment, right? So electrical energy is always converted into some other form of energy in order to be utilized. right? Just like a mule. So we have a economical system. Similarly, we have a power system where the power is generated by again doing some expenses from the other form of energy. So converting one form of energy to another form of energy is inherent in power systems, right? And it is also true for the case of an electric car. So electric car, so let's say, where do you need power? You need power on wheels, correct? So you want to run your vehicle, right? So for that propulsion power, what you actually need is the mechanical output power. Now what you have is a battery stored energy in the battery in the form of DC power. So now you need to convert that stored electrochemical energy into mechanical energy, right? And how you do that? There is one electromechanical conversion, which is motor, but there will be a power converter required in order to control and transfer or transform the one form of power to another form of power. So that's why power converters are required.
Okay, so in the episode where we did the electric scooter, you had mentioned that the BLDC motor is actually an AC motor. It's only called a BLDC motor. But are there any instances of electric vehicles where the motor is actually DC itself, truly DC? Is there any instance like that?
Yes, Srinath. So there are some applications, for example, electric bicycle or maybe a scooter can use permanent magnet DC motor, and they can directly take DC power from the battery. But let's say we connect battery directly to the motor, and what happens? So the motor runs at the voltage which is given by the battery, and there is no control at all, right? So imagine you are running a bicycle with a permanent magnet DC motor, and you continuously run at a full speed, right? Let's say the moment you start, you do not have any control over the speed, right? So you will never want that kind of a vehicle which is not speed controllable, right? So in order to control your speed, you need a converter or a controller in between, which is going to feed the required amount of power to the motor, and therefore you convert, or therefore you actually control the output power of the motor. So even if the motor is DC, even if your battery is DC, you need a DC-DC converter in between acting as a motor controller.
Okay, so in that case, how would the wheels turn actually? Because you said in the three-phase DC BLDC motor, there are actuators which kind of produce the rotation, the circular motion. In this case, how would that actually work?
So the motoring principle remains the same. A permanent magnet DC motor will need only two supply ends, positive and negative. So when you connect your controller's output, positive and negative, to the motor, you actually control the speed and torque by regulating the voltage and current given as an input to the motor. And how does a motor rotate? It's similar principle. When a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, that conductor is going to experience the force. Now all those conductors together experience a force in a circular way, right? Because the rotor is kind of a cylindrical structure. It produces the motion, or it produces the torque and speed. So that's how this motor will work.
So Vatsal, can you tell us a bit more about how the DC-DC converter actually works? I mean, yeah, I have a battery which can probably give me 100-120 volts of supply. How do I take that power and use it to run, say, my infotainment system or the speakers or the heads-up display? How does that conversion actually take place?
Yes. So apart from DC-DC converters being used for permanent magnet DC motors, you can use the similar DC-DC converters for powering the auxiliary loads. So when we talk about an electric car, usually that battery voltages are very high, around 250 to 350 voltage, right? And when you talk about auxiliary systems, so for example, you have a HVAC system, right? Your air conditioner of a car, you have your headlights, you have power windows, and a lot of things which needs starting from 5 volt to 12 volt or 24 volt or 48 volt, right? So it depends on what type of auxiliary load you have. So DC-DC converters are used for lowering the higher voltage from the battery and provide the required amount of power to the auxiliary load. So everywhere, so let's say you talk about LED lighting used for the main headlamp, or inside cabinet lighting, there will be a DC-DC converter controlling the current through those LEDs. And if you talk about the motors, which is going to provide you the cooling inside a cabin, those motors will be also given power from the main battery by a step-down DC-DC converter.
Okay, so each component of the car will have its own DC-DC converter, or is it like, from the 100 volts, it is first brought down to say 12 volts or 24 volts, and then everything that needs to be run on 12 volts or 24 volts will get powered by that? So
Yes.
Does it work like that, or is it each component has a separate converter for itself?
Very good question, Srinath. So each component will have their individual power converter if it is required to be controlled, right? So let's say, otherwise I can group all the similar loads operating at the same voltage level. So let's say if I have a lamp operating at a 12 volt, if I have another fan operating at a 12 volt, and if I have let's say another circuit which is having a solenoid operating at a same 12 volt. Now, if I need to control the speed of that motor which is operating at a 12 volt, or if I need to control the intensity of the light which is operating at a 12 volt, I need a separate power converter there. Even after converting from high voltage of the battery to the lower voltage, then I need another set of converter at the load end, finally at the application end. But let's say if your application is such that it just need a power, it does not need a control of a power or controlled power, then you need not to have any power converter in between. You can just connect all the similar loads which are operating at the same voltage to the same junction.
So you mean to say that if I have a lamp inside, a light which needs to be, say, dimmable, then I will need to have a converter over there?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and if I have the infotainment system, obviously does not need to be controlled. It just needs a steady supply of electricity. The windows need a steady supply of electricity. So for them, you don't need a separate converter. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And on an average, how many converters do you think would be there in an electric car?
So electric car, we actually call it electric, right? But it's more electronic, right? Mm-hmm. So I will say there are a lot of applications where power converters or power electronic circuits are used. So if we talk about powertrain architecture, starting from the battery, how the battery is receiving the power from the grid or the power network, it receives by a battery charger. So battery charger is one power converter. If you talk about how your battery energy is going to be converted into the motor power, right? There will be a DC-DC converter for permanent magnet DC motor, or there will be three-phase inverter for a AC motor, right? So there is also a major power converter. And apart from this two, which is AC to DC and DC to AC or DC-DC, there are other applications where you need to kind of convert power from one level to another, which is, let's say, you need a low voltage battery as well, right? And you need a high voltage battery as well for an electric car. And you need to interface between low voltage and high voltage, right? So that for that interface between one DC level to another DC level, DC-DC converters are used at several points in an electric car. So power converters, like inside a powertrain, there are mainly two applications. One is a battery charger, one is a motor controller. And apart from that, there are a lot of other small DC-DC converters placed inside the vehicle.
All right. Thank you so much, Vatsal. Thank you for taking the time off to explain how power converters work in an electric car. It was very insightful, and now I know a little more than what I knew yesterday. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah. Thanks, Srinath. Bye. Take care.
Bye.